Hello everyone, welcome back to Grim Dawn. Oops. I've just been putting away my crafting items, I sold my stuff that I needed to sell. We're going to be going on a very interesting little adventure here, because this is really going to be your first exposure to the idea that you can get stunned. Now what do I mean by that? Well, you probably have already assumed, hey, you're gonna come across a group of enemies that stun you pretty consistently. No, because this is really an introduction to the concept. Now, prior to this, the only enemy that very likely was going to have consistently been able to stun you was Krieg. And as a chapter boss, that's something a lot of you probably weren't too surprised by. The idea of him being able to stun you. I mean, he's a chapter boss for Pete's sakes. Why wouldn't he be able to stun you? But I want to call him a mini boss, basically, that I'm about to fight, and that you will very likely be fighting if this is your first run through. He's a pretty rough customer. Stuns you very quickly, pretty consistently, and with very little warning. The thing about Krieg is a lot of his attacks were very aggressively telegraphed. You could see them coming from about 2 days prior to them happening. That's not the case with this guy that I'm going to be coming up against, and you're going to see that, and I'll probably fight him mano a mano at least a little while just so you can see exactly how bad that can go before doing the usual hit and run strategies. Now, the reason why I'm saying that you are probably going to have to fight him as well is because, again, I am intending this particular series for those cast-offs from Diablo Immortal looking for a great ARPG. So this is, if you are one of those people, this is probably the first time you've been through the game and you don't have the dynamite. And he's guarding the dynamite. Now, you don't actually technically have to kill him. I also want to make that very clear. A lot of people, including myself when I first played, actually the first couple of times I played, a lot of people assumed that you had to kill him, Nicholas Balthazar, to... I want to eliminate some of his flunkies here. There was the stun. Zero, you could see there was zero telegraphing on that, and just boom, out comes the stun. And there's a shield slam, and then he's got this stun. There it is, nice and quick, very little warning. All right, he's really slapping me here because my armor is probably not up to snuff. Been having a bit of problems with that with my equipment. We all know it. We all know I've been having armor issues. Not armor as in what I've got equipped, armor as in the stat, the armor stat. My armor stat is a little bit lower than what I would personally like, and that's primarily what... Oh, that piercing damage is what he does. My piercing is 41%, which is decent enough. Definitely could be better. But yeah, that's really why I'm having a bit of an issue with that damage output there. But anyways, back to the main point. Yeah, you don't need to kill him if he is proving too much, but he is an introduction to the concept of, hey, first off, you don't necessarily need to kill everything that moves, first of all. And I think he's... Unless you went into the little cult dungeon that I talked about earlier, unless you went in there, he's your first exposure to this idea that you don't need to whack everything that moves. You can... I could right now just juke around him and go and grab the dynamite and get out of here if I really didn't want to fight him. If I was really grossly outmatched and I wasn't going to be able to win this, I could absolutely do that. But because I have a ranged skill, and I know that eventually with a little bit of time I could kill him, and I had the time to talk. I had the time to do it because I was yakking. I knew I could do that. If you don't have a ranged ability, you probably really shouldn't be fighting him because you're not likely at this point in the game to have the kind of armor you need to be able to survive him unless you've been very lucky or you've been focusing specifically on just the armor stat, pure and simple. It really depends on what you've got, what class you are, etc., but you don't need to kill him. That's the basic rough point. He is optional. He is also tough and will consistently stun you a lot. And I think it's really important that you at least give that fight a shot so that you can really come to terms with that, because you'll also notice those little the boars there, the large stony boars, the stonehide boars, I believe they're called. Yeah, they also have a chance to stun you, and later on in the game, you're going to see a lot more enemies capable of stunning you. You're going to see a lot of enemies actually capable of keeping up with you in terms of movement speed, which is... that's a fun time. But just keep in mind that all of these are things that you'll have to consider, absolutely. And he's really your first kind of exposure to that idea that you can pick and choose your fights. Now, you actually need the dynamite for that down there, but we're going to go up here and talk to this elder dude first. Okay. I was wondering if these skeletons would show up. They usually do, not always. Oh, there's a small amount of them, though, this time. There's usually... oh, okay, he body blocked that shot. I needed that to hit. Wow. Pardon me, I was just choking on some saliva there. You know how it is. Oh, wow. Anyways. Yeah, he's probably the most difficult thing you're going to be fighting in the game, even more than Krieg, because, again, he doesn't telegraph, where Krieg does. So he's a bit spoopier to actually fight for that reason. He can be very intense. And there's absolutely no shame in either just skipping him completely or running away or any of that. That's fine. I'm going to die here. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Alright, good. That's my pierce resistance. I gotta get that higher. I do not have enough pierce resistance. I do not have enough armor stat. But that's fine. That is totally fine. Now, what we're actually going to do... this is a fun little trick I picked up. You can go back and report these quests if you really want to. I generally don't at this point, and there's a couple of reasons for that. I'm just going to go ahead and pop my way up here with these goons. Absolutely fantastic. And then we're going to just run up here, and we're going to explode the little barrier. And then we're going to press on, because we can always rift back and talk to the people who gave you the quests in the first place. And it's just a little bit faster that way, because you don't have to do any backtracking. And here we go. I was hoping to hit this guy with that, but I knew as soon as I threw it that I'd misjudged that distance, and it was not going to happen. I knew it. I knew it ahead of time. Alright, so. Wow. Okay, this could be interesting. Boom. Oh, you're diseased. Alright, this is going to be a bit of a problem, because he's going to be resistant to like half my damage, I'll put at this point. And you're going to poison me to death. That's cool, too. Okay. Well, we'll get rid of you, because you're apparently by yourself. Oh, wait, we actually have a 1v1 here? Yeah, we do. Heal up right here. Come on. Throw this really quick just for some bonus damage, even though it's not that much. There we go. Yes. All right. I only used a couple potions for that, too, which is really nice. Tome of Plagues. Hey. Okay. Thank you. I see you. Oh, you just body blocked that turd. My Aether resistance is horrifically low. Yes. Alright, let's tango anyways, bud. What do you got? I have poison out the wazoo. Oh, barely survived that. But I did. Only used 2 potions. That's cool. Now, if you are playing through the game for the first time, again, there is a little, like, hornet hive on the upper left that you'll want to go through to grab some royal jellies. It can be a little bit interesting because there's a boss in there, the queen of the hive. She absolutely slaps. I just got decimated by those. There was more there than I was expecting. Oh boy. That's fine. That's fine. I miscalculated that pretty badly. Oh boy. Alright, well let's just go on ahead and go back here then, just so we can turn in these quests. Just while we're in the area, you know how it is. And we're just gonna give him the amulet, and we're gonna go ahead and talk to you. That's nice. That reputation increase is actually extremely important. I will get to why in a minute. But be very mindful of the fact that reputation gain from that quest is very important. And I don't know if you remember this from the 2nd or 3rd episode, but I went out of my way to find a cave full of... I can't say full of, a cave with 3 rover prisoners in it. I'm not sure if you remember that, but I did. You can go back and rewatch the episode if you want. I can't remember if it was episode 2 or 3. I think it was episode 3, but I could be wrong. Anyways, that gives you rover experience, and completing those quests for those 2 guys down there also gives you rover experience. And this is very important because it'll open up a quest. We're going to go ahead and throw this down here really quick. It's going to open up a quest that you're going to want to do. What is my poison resistance at? 26%, that's why I'm dying. They're poisoning me, and I don't have the poison resistance to not take substantial amounts of damage from that. My resistances are horrifically low right now, unfortunately. Well, some of them are. My elemental resistances are really great. The pierce resistance is okay, but definitely see an issue here with my resistances overall. But this right here, if you need royal jellies, this is where you're going to go for it. Just be careful of the boss, because she's absolutely going to slap you if you don't have the poison acid resistance, which I don't have here. I'm not going to go down there and fight her because I don't need to. I have the royal jellies, and you can see the kind of issue that would be presented should I try to, because my poison resistance is too low. Right? But basically, it's just fighting more bees. You can play Ring Around the Rosie with her if you really need to. It's not that big of a deal. Just be careful of that poison. Is really the only thing. So we're just going to pop up here. These guys I can take with not much trouble. There we go. No, what? That helmet. No. Grab another shrine. Absolutely amazing. Put that in there. Great. We have another hair. Really? Oh, no, this is... Never mind. This is something completely different. I remember this. For some reason, I thought it was another plague, Tome of Plagues. Okay, now that we have this, I might go back and farm some scepters from the cultists. I can foresee... and then I could get this, but I don't want pets. It's a great item, and it increases my poison damage. I'm going to wait until I'm level 25. That'll be next episode, very likely. I will show you why. We'll handle that next episode. Hello! Oh, that's nice. Wait a minute, we actually really want that. 240, you said? Ah, yeah. Yes. Look at that. 14% pierce resistance. 6% elemental resistance. Yes, that is a fantastic helmet. I really lucked out with that one. I lucked out with the Heretic's Tome, for that matter. That was really good for me. Nice. Oh, we're gonna... Oh, there's gonna be so much change happening next episode. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. I'm gonna cut it really close. I'm gonna die because they keep poisoning me. I really need to... Well, no, because now that we're past this point, there's really not that much poison going on, to be honest. I should be home free, honestly. Well, until I get to the Aether people, but that's beside the point. Now we're going to wander over here. Hey, dudes. Bye, dudes. Now, the easiest way to deal with this quest, by the way, is to just pay the guy off. Iron bits are really easy to get through. To get... Don't bother trying to, how much coin would it take you to leave, deal, give him the bits, and then you get some free scrap. If this is your first time around, that scrap is going to be pretty useful, so... But that's the easiest way. You can also kill him and then rescue the kids later on. That's for a bit more experience. But in the long run, experience isn't that important. You're going to get that soon enough. Now, this is the point at which it's very important that you get all of the rover faction experience you can. Rescuing the 3 rovers in the cave in the swamp. Doing the quest with the dynamite, which you have to do to progress this far anyways. Getting the amulet from the elder and giving it to the guy. Because then you can get this quest here from Eva, who will only give you this quest if you're at friendly or higher with the rovers. And if this is not your first run through, this is probably going to be a piece of cake to finish, because you probably already have the royal jelly in your inventory, which I happen to have already. If you're new, then this is a great excuse to go into one of the hives sharpen your skills, get used to the poison damage, because that's going to be... it's kind of hard to notice poison damage, that you're taking poison damage. You can see it on your health bar, but if you're being attacked by a bunch of things at the same time, which is typical of bees, or hornets actually, as they properly are, anytime you're being swarmed by wasps, actually, there's so much going on, it's really tough to see how much poison damage you're really taking. And that's a really great introduction to that idea as well. Something to keep an eye on, something you can get used to keeping an eye on. Very useful quest. Now, I'm not going to complete it this episode, because obviously when I start up the next episode, I'll be respawning in Devil's Crossing. I can just go up to the storage guy and grab the royal jelly from there. That's fine. Go ahead and grab the other quests here. Talk to Quaid. And that's fine. So, next episode, I'm going to be talking about a whole lot more, because we're going to be talking about Cronley's mine. We're going to be talking about Cronley. I'm going to be adjusting my build again. I'm going to be talking about all kinds of things, farming, things like that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. But we're going to end this episode here, because I did want to very specifically talk about some things you'll be exposed to from here on out. Some introduction, the introduction of certain ideas about enemies that you're going to be seeing more and more often as you progress through the game. And I'll be referring back to this pretty consistently throughout this run. So I just wanted to lay that kind of groundwork this episode. But either way, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.